Victoria and Lily were found in deplorable conditions. Their parents gone. Alone in the wilderness for at least 5 years.
Hey, Victoria.
How they survived is unexplainable.
Victoria was under the bed. A ghost is an emotion bent out of shape, condemned to repeat itself time and time again.
Where is she now? Is she here in this house?
Mama, stop it! You promised!
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast That Wouldn't Die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Hey.
That was a bit of a delay there. What were you doing? Sweet Jesus.
No, I think it's a delay on your side.
Okay. Anywho, whatever the case may be, there you go. Good times. This week we'll be discussing the horror classic, Mama, starring Jessica Chastain and Nikolai Coster-Waldau. Good times. Now, this was your selection, Aaron, correct?
I swear to you, I can't figure out who I saw this with because I always thought we'd already seen this.
Nope.
So then I thought I'd seen it with Heather. She's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I have no idea. I can't imagine that I went to go see this at the movies by myself, but I'm sure I went to see this at the theater.
I have never seen this before in my life. Never. And frankly, I wasn't even sure I'd even heard of it initially. After watching it, I kind of go, oh yeah, I kind of remember commercials for this. But every time we'd been talking about Mama in the past, I thought there was some kind of period piece about two children and they have like a ghost who's, and it's like they're in an old castle. I had no idea. Maybe this is not even a real movie I was thinking of. Who the hell knows?
No, because there's that other movie that I thought it was because they're all scrambled with the two kids. Wasn't there like an altar or something?
I have no idea.
Like it became like a pagan ritual.
That's what I thought we were doing. This other movie that I've pieced together from comments, which again may not be a real movie. Who's to say?
Maybe we should write it. Let's go, Hollywood.
Get me my pad and pencil. And add that to the fact there's a movie called Ma with Octavia Spencer. Then there's the movie Mother with J. Law, Jennifer Lawrence, and Javier Bardem. None of them are connected. So who in the hell knows? Who in the hell knows? Sweet Jesus.
Are they in the same Marvel universe?
It's the interconnected maternal universe. Absolutely. So give us your 30-second synopsis of Mama.
Jamie Lannister goes crazy at work and kills everyone and runs off into the woods with his like cutest girls in the world. Crashes the car at his craziness and wanders off into the snow, finds a cabin. He just decided, why not just kill my kids and myself? Because that's what a good dad does. Except a dark force comes, cracks his head like a nutcracker. And anyway, turns out Jamie Lannister has an identical twin brother.
Convenient.
And so they've been searching for the kids. 5 years later, find the kids. Guess what? They're all up.
Yep.
They are crazy, creepy spider babies with apparently they brought something with them, which is crazy and creepy also. Not a happy ending.
Not at all. I gotta be honest, at the risk of spoiling everything, I was kind of falling asleep towards the end because I always start watching this at like 10:30 or 11, and I'm a narcoleptic by trade. And so when it occurred, I'm like, that can't be what I thought I saw, was it? I had to rewind it. I'm like, that's not the ending of this movie. Is there some kind of mid-credit scene? Nope. There isn't. It's a sad situation.
They play it like a really dark fairy tale because, of course, it's Guillermo del Toro.
He produced it. Absolutely. Sweet Jesus. Okay. We've established that you think you've seen this before, correct or no?
I have seen this before.
I had never seen it before because I'm like, I think I remember hearing that Jamie Lannister's in this, but when I saw Jessica Chastain, that I was like, oh, so this is a totally different movie than what I thought it was going to be. But I have to say, I kind of liked it overall.
Yeah.
I liked
It
it.
has some of the acting with the kids are freaking amazing,
Absolutely.
especially the littlest squirrel. I mean, honestly, whoever directed this, they were spot on with the little girl who hides behind her older sister.
Yes.
We're just peeking out. How many kids have you seen that? Like the super shy kids. I mean, there's some spot on shit. And then with their little crabby walks and how they
Right.
sleep, they threw in some real creepy stuff. I'd be like, no, baby, we're breaking up because these kids are gonna kill us in our sleep.
Well, what's interesting is you think when you realize Jamie Lannister has a twin brother, you think this is the Jamie Lannister show. It is not. It is the Jessica
No.
Chastain show.
And she goes through an arc because you
Mhm.
think she's just this crazy bitch, and in the end, she's the one who's really stepping up, handling everything.
Absolutely. Well, she's Joan Jett for the first, 30 minutes of the movie. Basically, because she's in a rock
I
band.
didn't-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this.
Right. Okay. We got to jump right in. Let all the good times roll. First of all, so Jamie Lannister number one. Did you put together that it was he who flipped out because of the crash of 2008? Did you make that
Right.
connection? I had no idea
No,
what had happened.
They totally said that's what it said at the beginning. The crash,
Oh.
killed his boss. He must have lost everything, snapped.
Right. He killed two people at work and then tracked down his estranged wife, killed her, then drove and picked up the two daughters from home and was like driving them off into a strange place out in the woods. Right. Well, he gets into a car accident. He says he doesn't know where he's going, but his goal is clearly, I'm going to go kill my children and myself now. He is really snapped.
I honestly, I was like, I don't know if that was the final point, but really, when you're maybe they were going to go to the Canadian border, we don't know. But now he's at the point where the car is wrecked. He's in the middle of nowhere with these little kids and a gun, and he knows his shit is over.
It's over. Like, he's already murdered 3 people. So there's no, I mean, at that point, you're all in. So, yeah, there's no way out.
Then just killing your kids is the next step.
Right. So I have to say, so he skids off the road, off the cliff, and there's just like this cabin in the woods with no road that leads to it. Like, the only way you find it is if you get into a car accident and slide off the cliff. But the moment you go inside, this isn't old Elmer the Prospector's hut. This is like inside was like decorated from like the 60s. This is like a Mad Men episode. Yeah.
It has all glass looking out at a lake.
Absolutely.
This would have been, you'd pay big bucks to rent this place.
No question. It's very strange. But it also lends the idea that it would have been impossible for anybody to ever find these kids. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because Lannister is literally, he says he doesn't know where he's going. He's just driving. There's no premeditation. Right.
Yeah.
So when they cut to the Bloodhound gang hunting, like going through the forest, I mean, they never would have gotten even sniffing range of that place. Never.
No.
Now, were those guys actively looking, or were they just kind of cashing checks? Because it looked like they were just drinking, and the guy happens to see the cabin because he goes to take a whiz.
Well, you have to know where the dude was driving.
Right, which they don't know.
They don't know. He could be anywhere in the state.
Right.
And then it was snow belt, so now there's not tracks going off the road. And it was steep. You fly over, the car was wrecked in trees, so now you've got foliage over there. So yeah, I mean, if he had planned, he could be sitting out there right now.
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Okay, here's the next question. So he's about to murder his precocious children when a mysterious ghostly creature grabs him from behind and kills him. correct?
We already know shit's up because little girl is looking at the kids are looking out the window. Daddy, there's a lady outside and her feet aren't touching the ground.
Right. But here's the question. Here's what I'm asking you. Because you think that, okay, in retrospect, you're like, well, the ghostly woman is the protector, right? She's protecting the
Right.
kids, except for the fact that we later discover that she's a ghost woman because she jumped off the bridge with her baby or jumped off a cliff with her baby.
Right.
So she was doing the exact the same thing as Jaime Lannister, correct?
She's La Llorona.
But he has lost his mind and he's murdering his children and then himself. That's exactly what she did, and frankly, that's what she does at the end of the movie as well.
Uh-huh.
So
I don't think she's quite. We have to remember. We find out later she was in fact in an insane asylum. So
yes,
things are not always clicking right.
Clearly not. It's a sad situation.
And childcare is obviously was not one of her strengths in life.
Clearly, right? Now, the reoccurring themes that pop up with the ghost woman is cherries. Like she only feeds the kids cherries for some reason. Was there any explanation?
I'm not sure. First of all, they fed the kids moths and cherries for 5 years.
And so that's what it is. Because they were eating moths. The one girl was eating moths. So that's my next question is like, what is the relationship between Ghost Woman and moths and cherries?
That I do not know, but I just have to imagine that okay, first of all, where do you get fresh cherries year round?
In the snow.
In the snow. And I guess she also conjures moths. Maybe those were her favorite food. Those children, if they were still alive,
right?
They said malnourished, but they really weren't that skinny. They should be looking like one step away from Buchenwald or something.
Oh God, Aaron!
It's true.
Sweet Jesus!
They should. That's a visual. They should be bone.
Yes, they should be emaciated. No question.
Yes.
No question. Sweet Jesus. So so they established that the older sister, who's only 3, has a remarkably strong vocabulary even at the age of 3, right? Whereas the younger sister's only like 1, basically, and it has not developed language yet, which is an issue that occurs later when they're found 5 years later. But my question,
which to me doesn't make sense.
Which doesn't make sense to me. I would go for it.
Right, because her sister is talking to her.
Would have been, right?
Right.
Would have been talking to her for 5 years. Right.
I mean, and Ma just kind of shrieks or something, but unless Ma said there'll be no talking, I don't know. She obviously it made her angry when she got glasses, but yeah, you would just be talking to your little sister.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, she wouldn't be speaking like Shakespeare after 5 years, but they wouldn't have missed those crucial, developmental markers. I mean, conceivably, she wouldn't be now out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As far as I know, she'd have some kind of language, but clearly all the little girl can say is mama.
Mama. And she says Victoria.
She does say Victoria.
Come, go. But she is talking in that way that you might expect someone who skipped the milestone. She's talking caveman talk.
Right. Well,
You go.
Yes.
You go.
When they find the little girls, they're basically spider babies, crawling around on all fours, jumping around like something out of, Ju-on the Grudge, essentially.
Yeah. Feral
children. No question.
They attack you. They don't want to be touched.
Right. Now, they are taken to the therapist or whatever, and the one girl snaps out of it pretty much. She's like, I'm good. I was talking at 3, so I don't have to walk around on all fours anymore and, eat moths.
And sleep in a bed.
I am snapped back to normalcy, whereas the little sister now sleeps on the floor, covered in her own filth, eating moths, which was a shocking moment. I didn't realize she was eating the moths until they zoom in on her full blown chewing on an old moth.
And she's got all that ash. I don't even know what that's called. The wings of moths and butterfly. How they leave that powder.
Right,
And it's all
gossamer.
smeared all around her mouth as she's chomping down. Yeah, her sister is totally feral. Won't eat at the table. Eats on the floor like an animal.
They pour her a bowl of cherries, and she crawls on the ground and just eats like a dog.
Yeah.
Face right in the cherries again. And literally, when they're discovered, there's like a mountain, like a termite hill, that's just cherry pits, just cherry pits.
Should we assume they eat one cherry, walk across the room, and drop it in the pile?
I mean, what else are we supposed to think?
And
Right?
why were they dropping from the ceiling?
Well, I don't know if they were dropping. They were kind of jumping on countertops and jumping on the refrigerator top, if I remember correctly. So
No, I mean the cherries. When we see the pile, you see one like fall and roll
oh, I see. Okay, because Mama's still up to her old tricks, I guess.
down. Ay, ay, ay.
Who's to say? Sweet Jesus. So Nikolai, I don't even remember what his character's name
No,
is.
we're
Steve,
just gonna call
Fred,
him
Jamie Lannister. He's got like a rock star girlfriend, live-in girlfriend, in their one bedroom. It's basically like a studio, right? They're like he
Right.
spent his last nickel hiring the Bloodhound gang to find. I have to ask. Go ahead.
He's clearly the better brother. So the other one was financially successful until he lost his freaking mind.
Yep.
And then he just totally irresponsible. And then you
Yes.
got the goofball brother with a moral compass.
Right. Well, what is he? He's an artist. What was
He's an
his deal?
artist. He's an illustrator.
He's an illustrator. And I guess he doesn't hire a private detective. He hires Gomer and Goober and their bloodhound. Is
They're
that
like trackers? They're trackers.
because but you think, I mean, doesn't he think that the brother ran off with the daughters and they're just living somewhere? Isn't that the thought process? Why would he immediately go to, clearly their bodies are scattered somewhere in the forest?
See that they don't tell us why. They think it's one way or another.
Right. It's a good thing it's the Bloodhound gang, though. It all worked out in the end, I guess, is the moral of the story.
I mean, technically, 5 years ago, you could still track people's cell phones. So maybe it's close to the last ping.
Oh,
I'm pulling
maybe.
a little CSI.
Right. Well, so we need to read the prequel novel to find out
That's right.
exactly what went down.
Is this based on a novel?
It is based on nothing but madness. No, I think there was like a short. The director filmed a short called Mama with the not the exclamation point, the accent mark.
Oh,
So good times. So they track down the kids. He's the closest living relative, I guess. But then there's also like the dead mother's aunt who's also there who wants to
Or
adopt the
sister.
children. Her
sister.
sister. So it's basically the same thing in reverse. It's like,
Right.
I'm the brother of the father and you're the sister of the mother, basically, kind of thing.
But she
Okay.
lives on the other side of the country, and the psychologist thinks he's going to get famous writing stuff on this.
Right.
So he kind of backs the uncle, gives him a place to stay, in exchange for access to the
It was
kids.
extortion. It was he was full blown the psychologist who wants to study the two feral children of Borneo. He's just basically like, hey, I can't have these kids flying across the country to Aunt Mildred. I got to keep them right here. So
They're mine. They're mine.
right. So it's basically, I will give you a beautiful home in the suburbs as long as I get free access to these kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, sounds good. Where do we sign? Now, Jamie number 2 quickly is dispatched by Mama. Gets knocked off like the balcony, not the balcony, the top landing, and falls on the
Yeah.
stairs. I was like, he must be dead. No, he's just in a
No.
coma. He's just out of the
Just-
picture.
He just doesn't come back to the house for the rest of the movie. Basically, he didn't really do anything, but
No.
for sure, he's the twin brother.
Because
No,
he
I
bailed.
just- No, he's the twin brother, so Mama, I'm sure maybe thinks it's, I don't know, the father coming back.
Well, the value of him being the twin is that when he sees his niece for the first time, she puts on her glasses and sees him. She's like, "Oh, it's Dad.
Right.
Therefore, I will open up to you for a moment." Even though he says, "No, it's me, Uncle Fred," whatever his name is. But that kind of creates that connection. So now it's like, okay, I will hug you. I will speak to you. I will no longer roll on the floor in my own filth.
Right.
So there
That's
you go.
the point for her, where she then kind of starts moving away from Mama.
Right.
Meanwhile, her little sister desperately is clinging to Mama.
Because she spent more time with Mama than with her real Mama and Daddy.
Right.
So, and that's the thing. Now, there are a lot of spooky imagery where you don't see a lot of Mama. You just see little, whatever her name is. There's like Lily and Victoria. Is that their names? Something like that?
So. Man, that little Lily girl, man. Ooh, she's a creeper.
Well, you see her like kind of playing with a figure just off camera over and over. And I'll tell you what, those moments were very effective.
Yeah, they were very effective. They're playing like tug of war with a blanket, but then you realize the blanket is all the way up to the ceiling.
Right.
And then you think she's with her sister, then of course her sister comes up the stairs.
Right. Exactly.
And
those
then,
are good moments.
Right before the door closes, you just see her feet dangling around, moving around the ceiling.
Yes.
That was super good.
That was good.
Just giggling and laughing and having a grand time.
Having a grand old time. Now, and then there were those moments where you hear like the scary noise that Mama makes. I can't even describe it. It's like kind of a weird moan kind of thing. Yeah. I'll tell you what. The sign of a truly scary, especially ghost stories, is usually when I feel this, is when literally I get the shivers up the spine. The involuntary, whoa. And this movie had that. No question.
Between the little songs that the girls sing, and then all of a sudden you hear the third voice, and there's just the god awful sounds that are happening all night long. Good God, horrible.
It was creepy. Now I will say this, in full disclosure, the movie got less scary when we started to see Mama like full blown. When it was just theirs. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's like Jaws, less shark is better.
Absolutely. The moment you see, and frankly, whenever you saw Mama, it was just a woman, like a creepy looking woman, floating around who had kind of a rubbery looking face. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, okay, got it.
Even in the photograph, so they realized that she was a real person, blah, blah, blah. But even in the supposed photographs, she doesn't look like a real person. Honestly, you're better off with a real-looking person.
I don't know what the solution would be, because at some point, here's a ghost woman, and we're letting you get a good long look at her, and you're just kind of like, okay, I see. I mean, I don't know what the solution is. Is it better if we never see?
I think it would have been better if we never saw her face.
Yeah, maybe. That's kind of the gooch, I think.
I don't mind the hands. They're the long, creepy, bony blue hands coming across, and her outfits. Maybe better if we just didn't see her face.
I agree. Now, okay, so Joan Jett is basically like, okay, so now I have to raise these kids because Lannister's in a coma for God knows when. When literally she was like, I don't even know if I want kids. And her bandmate's like, you should just leave him. Just get out of there. Hit the bricks. And she's like, I don't know.
I'll give him another 24 hours. Oh my God.
We'll see.
Shit was so real. It was like, how do you even sleep? Then it's infecting her dreams. She's dreaming that she is Mama, stabbing nuns and jumping off cliffs with babies. Well,
she's in that big old house, creaking and moaning, and you see like distant shapes. That's the stuff that gets you.
Yeah.
When she's all alone again, Jaime Lannister in a coma for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Good times.
Faces are in doorways. the crab children are still crabbing down the hall in darkness. I mean,
Yes.
"Ooh."
It was great. It was like, don't go in don't go in the closet. Don't go in there. Don't look in there because that's where she's waiting. Now, there were a lot of scenes where it's just like, here's a weird black thing on the wall. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I looking at?
Like,
What is
it's
that?
like a mildew stain, and it's like she's moldy and rotten, and then she crawls through the rot.
Something. Well, I guess they establish Mama lives in the walls when we
Right.
don't see her. She's
It's
slippering
some
around in there.
some kind of a portal because the moths come through that hole, slime comes through that hole, and Mama for sure shoots that arm and jumps through the hole. So wherever
That was
Mama
it.
is, you start getting this weird mold, the black mold. Mama is
It was black
mold.
mold. It's like,
It
you
is
got to get an
black mold.
inspector in there or something.
We figured it all out.
It's the sad realization. Now, there are multiple times where either the psychologist or Jamie Lannister is like, hey, I'm going to go investigate the haunted cabin in the woods by myself in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that
I
made no
ain't doing
sense.
that.
I'd be like, maybe I'll head out in the morning.
Hell yeah. And I'm bringing some friends. I'm
There's
not
no
investigating.
electricity. What are you gonna find with your tiny little Meg light? How you even find the cabin? That's what I don't get.
I mean, presupposing that there is no ghosts, there's nothing supernatural. There could be some mangy old meth heads up in there. I don't know what's in there. Snaggletooth
Exactly.
Joe could come up and hit me on the head with a bottle, and that's all she wrote. I ain't
And
doing that.
it's dark. What are you gonna find?
Right. Absolutely. So that's multiple times. And I have to wonder what happens to the bodies of the people that Mama kills. Because she kills Jamie Lannister. We never see his body again. Sorry,
No.
Jamie won. We never see his body again. The psychologist gets killed. And I don't think we find his body later either. Right?
No. They just disappear. I don't know. Do they shove them through the rot? I don't know. Throw them in the lake?
There-
We don't know.
We don't know.
Unexplained.
There's no Friday the 13th reveal where you're walking through the house and then the bodies just kind of fall out of the door or something.
No.
They gone. Who's to say? Very upsetting. We have to talk about the ending now.
All right.
Because
I
this
did
is
not
that
like
thing.
that ending.
I didn't either. So they're up on the cliff because now they know the whole story. Mama was in an insane asylum and stabbed a nun who was trying to steal her baby. And the cops were chasing her, so she jumped off I keep saying a bridge. Jumped off a cliff and fell to her death, but her baby got caught on a limb,
Branch?
a tree limb, a branch that was hanging out. So this happened, I guess, what, the late 1800s?
But the
So
baby
for-
was still dead, so who cares?
Well, and yes. So for the next 100 years, Mama's been looking for the ghost of the baby and just happened to stumble upon these two and they're her surrogate daughters.
Right.
When
so
Jessica
at one
Chastain-
point,
Yes.
they give her the bones of the baby, and at first she's cool and was gonna peace out until the little niblet starts barking "Mama," and then she's like, "Screw this!" and throw the bones over her shoulder.
She threw the bones over her shoulder to the depths below and is now like, okay, well, I'm taking these kids with me.
Yeah.
And like, again, I'm going to jump off the ledge again to my doom, and I'm taking these kids with me. And somehow the older daughter kind of like convinces her, oh no, Mama, I'm going to stay. And Mama's like, okay, I guess I'll just take this one. And that's kind of like their agreement. Okay, I guess you can take one. You can take the younger one. I get you can take the 5-year-old. We'll keep the 8-year-old. We're good. You know, handshake agreement. That was basically what it was.
But I don't even get that. If that's what Mama wants, why didn't she kill him immediately?
Right. It was so I kept thinking they're going to come up with some, like, Mama's going to realize, oh, I can't kill this baby and hand the baby. No.
I
They go
wanted
right-
someone to say, if you love these children, you're not going to hurt them. But nobody
Yeah.
did.
Well, and frankly, there was no, if Mama wanted to take both kids, there wasn't much they could do.
Right.
Truth be told, they tried, but she would just kind of touch them and give them a little black touch, and they would collapse. And
Go to sleep, Annabelle. Go to sleep.
That's what it was. So they go off the cliff with little Lily. I don't remember what her name was. They go off the cliff, and then halfway down, they kind of turn into a cocoon. Is that what happens? And they're kind of looking at each other lovingly until they hit the branch.
And then turn
And then,
into 1,000 butterflies.
or 1,000 black moths. Basically, I don't know if that's good, bad, or different.
Is it the death head moths from Silence of the Lambs?
It was Silence of the Lambs. And the moth flutters back up and lands on Victoria's hand, and she's kind of like, oh, Lily, is that you? And then it flies away. Oh, great. I mean, I guess we didn't know you that well anyway. Audio. I mean, what a weird ending.
And
who conceived of this ending?
Her sister did not seem happy by the butterfly sister or the moth sister.
I wonder why. Surprise!
Why didn't she eat her?
What? Now that would have been a twist. That would have been M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Chomp. Hey me!
Write this down. This is comedy gold, Jerry.
Comedy gold.
No, but it wasn't like she said, well, I'm going to take the moth home with me or anything. It was just like, okay, I guess you're reincarnated as a moth. Who the hell knows what's happening in this movie? Not me. That's for damn show.
I mean,
very upset.
Is it to open the door for Mama 2, where it's just her crazy sister?
Mama's back, and this time it's personal. Very upset. Who knows what? I mean, is she going to be a giant moth creature? The Mothman prophecies?
Mothman
is that what's
prophecies? See, it's all coming together.
Very upsetting. Yeah. Again, I want to stipulate. I would say most of this movie was very creepy.
Yeah.
Very scary.
100%.
But again, I think the more you see of Mama, the less scary it becomes. And then the ending was just baffling.
Yeah, I didn't care for the ending. There was too much Mama, but it was still out of sight.
I give it a positive review. We'll talk about our reviews later. But overall, I thought it was good. Do you have any more thoughts about this before we move on to behind the scenes?
I literally have. Why did they try? Oh, no, I have no notes. I have 4 things written down, and I've already said them all.
Why did they try? One thing I will say, I don't know what this was. No matter what time of day it was, the kids' windows always looked like it was daylight outside.
Yeah.
Like they had the blinds closed, but it was like clearly light kind of fighting its way through the blinds. So I don't know if that was a choice or what's happening.
Yeah. Even in the middle of the night, it's clear as a bell. It's like the moon is literally inches from the window. Yeah, because they're climbing out the window because Mom's kind of a night owl. And she likes to frolic in the forest with the kiddos at midnight.
Well, little Sally climbed out the damn windows.
Yeah.
Second floor window and climbed down. She's 5. My goodness.
Well, she's a spider baby.
She's Mowgli.
She is
Very
Mowgli. Watch out for Shere Khan.
For show. For show. Okay, let's hit behind the scenes. You ready?
Lay it on me. I'm telling you, these people really research trauma because with the sleeping under her sister's bed, pressed into a corner, there is so much dynamite. Those little babies should have got an award.
I agree. They were really good. I mean, frankly, even 3-year-old Victoria was great. She's in one scene at the beginning of the movie. She was so good.
She was those kids are the stars of the show. It's incredible.
Not Joan Jett. You didn't appreciate her.
Not Joan Jett. Not Jamie Lannister. And you know I love Jamie Lannister. But no, those kids are still in the show.
I agree. Okay, let's do behind the scenes.
Lay it on me. Are they actually dwarves and the littlest one is really 43? Is it like Orphan?
That is correct. She's Isabel Nelisa, I'm sure I'm messing up her name, who played the little one, whatever her name is, because I'm not looking that up.
No.
Can't speak English. She's French Canadian, so that's why all she said was mama.
Oh, she was perfect.
Which is mama in any language, evidently.
I
there
guess.
You go. Good times. Mama's appearance was inspired by a painting by Amadeo Modigliani.
Yes.
I
know exactly what they're talking about.
And it's the same image that the director used, because the same director did It and It Chapter 2, like those movies.
Okay.
When a painting comes to life in that movie, it's the same inspiration. So there you go. The character of Mama was played by an actor. His name is Javier Botet.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Javier Bardem. I'm like, that's
Javier
amazing.
He's very talented. He had previously appeared as a ghoulish woman in the movie Rec, R-E-C, which was a Spanish zombie movie that was remade in America as Quarantine. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I did not. But is there a reason we can't hire women to be women?
Because this actor has a condition that makes him look like kind of a long-fingered, double-jointed, ghoulish creature.
Oh, I thought that was all CGI. Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean, they put makeup on him, on his face.
Well, I would hope
to look all
so.
effed. Right, to make him look like
People would
effed
murder
Mama.
him on the spot otherwise.
This is true. But all the arm and body work was him.
All right.
So there you go. Yes, like I said, it would take 4 hours of makeup every day to turn him into Mama, and another 2 hours to remove it.
Oh my! I'd blow my brains out. I don't even like being at the beauty salon that long.
Wait, and you wonder about stuff like that, where they like put the plaster on your face, and they have to wait until it hardens, and they have to like put like a straw so you can breathe.
Yes.
How do people do that?
I would have to go to the bathroom immediately just because I couldn't.
Absolutely. No question.
Oh my God. Note to self, next time I'm discovered and I have to be in Hollywood movies, just wear adult diapers.
That's get one of those astronaut diapers.
That's what I do.
That's how they do it.
Then you can drink all the water and coffee you want all day long.
Did you hear about that story where it was like she was an astronaut and she drove like 5 states to keep, I guess her husband was having an affair. And she's like, I can't even stop to take a crap. I'm just going to put on an astronaut diaper. And if I have to, I'm just going to do it.
I can't
just
even
fill my
remember
britches.
if it was her husband was having an affair. She was the one having the affair and she went to go kill the wife. I can't. It's all become the Long
something
Island
like that.
Lolita or something.
Right. But it's just like, I have got to go.
Joey's a good boy.
Who's that, Joey Buttafuoco?
Yes.
That's hilarious. Jessica Chastain was the only choice to play Joan Jett in this movie, whose character's name was Annabelle, interestingly enough, not to be confused with the possessed doll from the Conjuring universe.
I would hope not. Although at the beginning, I thought she was I was like, she's kind of shitty. I wasn't excited about her acting, but she moved into it.
I love
Uh-oh.
Jessica Chastain.
Uh-oh.
She's another one of my secret crushes.
Especially when she's
list.
butched up like Joan Jett.
Before that, not interested.
Chris
When she
Cross, Joan Jett, and Patti Smith with a long
That was it.
armpit hair and a stained T-shirt. Yay!
That might be a bridge too far. We don't want her getting into
you
the
don't
Dennis
wanna be
Franz
her,
collection.
You don't want to be her Robert Mapplethorpe.
No, I do not. Thank you very much. Sweet Lord. Jessica Chastain, who plays a bassist in the movie, took guitar lessons. That's important.
All right.
Good times.
Why wouldn't you take bass lessons?
That's a good question.
That seems a little easier.
Wah, wah, wah. This movie gave Jessica Chastain a 1-2 punch at the U.S. box office charts because it opened at number 1 with Zero Dark 30 opening at number 2.
Whoa!
Zero Dark 30. Yeah.
I want to see Zero Dark 30.
That's a different movie.
That's a South Park version.
Zero Dark 30. Good times. Good scatological humor. I think that's about it. Sweet Jesus.
You're bebopping and scatting.
I'm handling my biz, you know what I'm saying? Should we talk about the rating?
Hey, let's do it. Anything from My Hero?
We're going to get there. Mama has a 63% fresh
What?
on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not right.
The audience only gave it 55%.
Maybe you looked up a different movie.
Well, let's take a look.
This
and see.
movie was bang. Am I right or am I wrong? Does this seem freakishly low?
It does seem low to me. I do. Well, we've talked to people. We've been on other shows. We talked about our favorite ghost story movies, and this is often mentioned. For God's sake.
Yes.
Let's see. All sorts of famous critics here. Let me see. Let's see. The top critics, Wesley Morris from Grantland gave it a C+.
What the hell?
This movie has more integrity than its creepshow peers. The story basically comes down to a dead-looking woman who doesn't want to be a mother fighting for the parental custody against a long-dead woman who does.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good times. Let me see. Amy Nicholson from Movie Line gave it 7 out of 10. Okay. Is this Chastain's reputation besmirching Norbit? P. Shaw. For my money, it's her best performance yet. But I'm only going to give it 7 out of 10.
Pishaw.
That's what she said.
Oh my God.
She said P. Shaw.
P. Shaw.
So there you go.
P. Shaw.
Let me see if I could find anybody else I want to mention. Probably not. Peter Travers from Rolling Stone, 2.5 out of 4.
What?
Rotten. You know something is up when what looks like a cheapy fright flick is produced by Guillermo del Toro and boasts an Oscar-nominated actress in Jessica Chastain. Mama doesn't live up to their potential.
What?
But the film knows how to creep you out. So that's kind of a...
I am aghast.
It's aghast. Very upsetting. Let's look at our favorite. Okay, this is a new segment we're going to have on the show. Because
it's
I
very
think
new because I haven't heard anything about it.
This is brand spanking new because I'm going to make a special effort to track down the reviews of everybody's favorite movie critic, Rex Reed.
Yay!
So there you go. Mark this. So Rex says the title of his article is Mama is another homage to horror's demented stepfather. Okay.
I don't
Good
know
to
what that
know.
means, but it sounds good.
There's no point approaching Mama with anything related to logic. Like most ghost stories, it has a few effectively creepy moments of quiet reflection, shattered by loud noises designed to jolt you. So, thank you, Rexy.
No,
Good
I have to
times.
tell you, Rex, you're wrong. Because it was the best part of this is the creepy imagery. Not jump scares, not loud noises.
I didn't think it was really a jump scare kind of thing. I mean, there may have been a couple, but that's not what I liked about it.
I don't know what's going on, Kevin. It's like when I recently saw Amadeus and realized it had been completely re-edited and it's a different movie. I think something Twilight Zone-y like that is happening right now with these reviews.
It's entirely possible. Good time. So what is your rating for Mama?
I am giving it 4.26 out of 5.
It's very specific.
Moth-covered cherries.
Moth-covered cherries. That's a delicacy in some countries.
In French Canada.
French Canadian, exactly. I am going to give it, I will say, 4 out of 5 crazy octopus tattoos on Joan Jett's arm. So there you go. I thought it was good, and I talked about this before. As far as creepy movies, this one's right up there. For as far as scary movies, in terms of ghost movies, this is right near the top of your list because it is very effective.
Very effective.
Of setting those moods. You know, the occasional moany sound that sends those shivers up your spine. You know, where they don't. It's kind of like you said with Jaws, where they don't show you everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like here's a dark hand or a dark figure in the distance kind of thing that sets those stage. Hit me with your thoughts.
No, 100% agree with you. It is just moody and creepy, and honestly, you don't know what's going to happen next. I liked it. I really liked it, and once again, it's because those two little girls knock it out of the park. I mean, it really doesn't matter what Jamie Lannister and Joan Jett do, because those girls are rocking it.
I agree. Let's talk about the cast.
I was going
think
to
we
say
skipped that.
something about that.
I'm
like,
I just
we already have the
there's no
rating.
rundown. There's no rundown. It's the rundown is in my brain, and sometimes it malfunctions. Jessica Chastain played Annabelle. You know her from Zero Dark 30, Molly's Game, Interstellar, Tree of Life.
Oh my God. I would never guess that was the Molly's Game.
Do not watch Tree of Life. Let me put that on there as well. It is the most horrendously boring movie the world has ever known.
I'm not even sure I've heard of it.
Terrence Malick. If you want to, they tell people to watch Tree of Life. Basically, insomniacs who don't respond to heavy drugs. Basically, it's a sad situation. The movie was written and directed by a man named Andy Muschietti. I'm sure I'm messing up his name. He also did It Chapter 2, and Mama. So there you go. So check that out.
But not the It with John Boy and Mr. Tripper?
John Ritter, and no, he didn't do that. With Venus Flytrap from WKRP, he didn't do that. Let me see. So we also have.
What about
the rest
those
of the cast.
girls? Did they do anything after this?
I'm going to tell you exactly what they did. But first, Nikolai Coster-Waldau played Lucas/Jeffrey. So there you go. You know him from Game of Thrones, Oblivion, Gods of Egypt, and some Danish things.
I don't know any of that
So there
shit.
you go.
But all you need to
You don't
know
know, Jim.
is GOT.
That's all you need. And frankly, only the first 5 seasons of GOT.
You know
That's all you need.
You know, there's a prequel, a reimagining coming up. I'll have
is.
to take a peek.
He's not in that. It takes place thousands of years before.
I'm just talking the Game of Thrones in general.
I love it. Megan Charpentier played Victoria, the older sister. You know her from It,
Ooh.
Mama, one of the Resident Evil movies, Resident Evil Retribution,
Oh dear.
and The Shack, which is that religious thing. That religious movie where there's something going on in the shack. I don't know. The
Oh.
Love Shack. Who's to say? Isabel Nelise, who I'm sure I butchered that name. She played Little Lily. You know her from Mama. Something called The Tale. She was also in It. And something called Mommy. So she's covering all the maternal movies.
I guess so. I find
So
it
good
interesting.
times.
You're struggling with the French, but you were knocking out the Japanese last week. What's going on here? Are you racist against our French Canadian neighbors to the north?
Yes, that is it. That is it entirely.
It's understandable.
Well, I've said this before. When it comes to foreign words, foreign names, if you say it with authority, people will be like, "Oh yeah, obviously that's how you pronounce it."
Yeah, we're gonna have
Very
to chop
sad.
that arm off.
That's right. Good times had by all. So, thank you very much. Go to our page on Facebook at The Podcast That Wouldn't Die. Go to our page on Twitter at TPodcast, TWDie. Aaron, we're on the Insta.
We're on the Insta. We are the podcast that wouldn't die.
You can email us. Oh, do you have something else you want to say?
Did you already say the Twitski?
Yeah.
Oh,
I said
I
it.
wasn't listening. Sorry.
I don't blame you for questioning because I'm a loose cannon. Who knows what's going to be remembered? Who knows what's not? What was I going to say? You can email us at the podcast that wouldn't die at
Gmail.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. Aaron, what's going on with you?
I am the Cultiva Aaron on the Insta. I'm also Don't Feed the Pigeon on the Insta. You can now find me on Artsy Aaron Doherty. I'm very famous now. And Aaron Doherty on First Dibs is real. I'm an artiste, kids.
You can see all of Aaron's art installations anytime, day or night.
Apparently, a picture of Kevin. It's gonna be very
Appar-
famous.
Without permission. So who's to say? Good gravy. Next week, we're going to be doing the horror with a splash of science fiction. Deep Blue Sea. They are sharks, but they've made them smarter. Why? It's too impossible to be understood.
Do they light
You
up
can
and
see-
glow like Life Aquatic?
Why not? Who's to say? Anything's
Or are they
possible at this
like
stage of the game.
Jabberjaw?
Jabberjaw, jabberjaw, jabber, jabber, Jew. Yeah, probably. He also speaks. If you remember Jabberjaw, he sounded like Curly from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Right. They're very creative in 1970s cartoon television. Anywho,
Oh my God.
who remembers
We need to
Jabberjaw?
re-edit this. If the sharks speak, that we need to re-edit it and make it so it is like Jabberjaw.
The sharks do not speak.
Damn
Spoiler
it!
alert.
Damn it!
It's an all-star cast. It has LL Cool J, Michael Rappaport, others. Samuel L. Jackson,
Wait a
of
minute.
course. How could I almost
Wait a
forget?
minute. This is smelling a lot like Anaconda.
It should. It's very similar, which means it's a classic. Damn it.
Damn it.
Damn it all to hell. You can watch it for free on Tubi, only standard definition, though. If that's a problem, you might have to fork over a couple bones. But Tubi or not Tubi, that is the
That is
question.
the
Hey! Good time. So, thank you very much, and be well.
Later, skaters.